Everyone, please stand. Right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the Bible,
God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its word in my heart, that I might not sin against God.
I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag,
Whose kingdom it stands,
hands at your side. We will sing the first verse of the national anthem. Begin.
fair Antigua and Barbuda,
We thy sons and daughters stand, strong and firm in
peace or danger, to safeguard our native land. We commit ourselves to building a true nation, brave and free,
ever striving,
ever seeking.
dwell in love and unity. We will now sing our school song. Your hands remain at your side. Begin. Hands and hands together, united voices ever, to proclaim the good news across the land. Committed to the cause of making a difference in the lives of all the boys and girls. We are the light that shines bright, shining as gold throughout the night. Gospel Light Elementary brings the light of Jesus to the world. With banner lifted high, we stand for truth and right, serving with all our might. Seeking God's kingdom first, Jesus Savior has our guide, making a difference to each child. We are the light that shines bright, shining as gold throughout the night. Gospel Light Elementary brings the light of Jesus to the world. Saints of God, serving Him, joy in each child near, teaching us to love the Father day by day. We can go without the doubt and make a difference in our world, so the light of Jesus can shine through. We are the light that shines bright, shining as gold throughout the night. Gospel Light Elementary brings the light of Jesus to the world. Gospel Light Elementary brings the light of Jesus to the world.
Please remain standing for our opening prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you that we are alive and well, and we can come now to celebrate your goodness. We thank you for the different careers that you have called us to, realizing that we truly need each other. That one person cannot be everything. So we thank you for that special calling that you have given to each of us. And you have used this to bring you glory and to bring you honor. So as we reflect on the different careers today, we ask that you will do a mighty work within us. Help us to see you, help us to know you more, help us to give back to you, realizing that you are indeed worthy of it all. We thank you for today, and we ask that you bless today's proceedings. Every career represented, every speaker who will speak, everyone who will be a part of this program, oh God, we ask for your divine blessings. And we thank you and we praise you as we're about to say our morning prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, say with me please. Dear Heavenly Father, teach us to obey today while we work and while we play.
Bless the children near and far. Keep them in your care. Give us wisdom
And knowledge today and strength.
for the task along the way. Bless our teachers and grant them
Grace.
Help us to make a difference as we run
This race. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you. Grade 6. Good morning, students. Let's try this again. Good morning, students. All right, let me welcome you to today's program. Our career day activities will begin this morning. We thank each and every one of you for coming out. We thank you for looking so lovely in your different uniforms and attire. We are so happy that you didn't stay home today, but you wanted all of us to know what you desire to be when you grow up. And this is very important because desiring this at a young age like you are will help you to eventually become a good career person. So if you desire to be, let's say, a race car driver, as we have Mr. Kyle wants to be a race car driver, when he focuses on that at a tender age, when he grows up, he will want to give his very best. So we want to encourage you to really take your career path serious, because when you grow older, it will help you to really give your best. And remember, that's what we do. We give our best for God's glory. So let me welcome you again today. I see a lot of different careers, and we'll have our time when you come up and tell us what you want to be when you grow up. Because when I was young, I wanted to be so many things. And when I was younger, I wanted to be a forensic scientist. And then I realized that was too much work. So I changed. And then there was a time I wanted to be a technician, an engineer. And then I changed. And then God has called me now to be a pastor and also a teacher, of course. So, and I'm satisfied. I'm happy with what I'm doing now. I feel that that is God's will for my life. So when you focus on this early, in a few years, when you actually become what you want to become, you will realize that God will lead you to that right path, okay? But you have to be sensitive to God and listen to what He's saying and allow Him to lead you. Okay, so this morning we have a nice program for you. We have a few speakers, presenters, so professionals in their own fields that will come to you and give you some insight of what the career is all about. Because many times we desire to be something, but we're not really sure the ins and outs and just what it means. So we have gotten a few professionals to come to you today and to give you some insights as it relates to that particular field. So this should be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to hear the many things that we will glean and learn just because we have these professionals. I am honored to introduce our first professional, who is none other than Constable Richards. He is a police medic Special Forces for at least 14 years, and he has something that he wants to share with you this morning. So those of you who desire to be within the police force, the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda, I think you should listen carefully to Constable Richards as he gives some insights as it relates to being within the police force. Let us welcome Constable Richards, please.
Good morning. Come on, you can do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. My name is Officer Richards, Constable Richards. I'm also Jazara's dad. As you were just told, I've been in the police force for 14 years, so I have a bit of experience in quite a few things. Different trainings, different programs. But today is about you. It's about you. We're going to start off by the career that you chose this morning. I see a lot of police, doctors, nurse, maybe dentists, teachers, hairstylists. As you say, race car driver, footballer. It's quite a few, and I'm proud to see that. I'm proud to see that. As the pastor says, when you start off early, it's good. You have a vision, you have an aim, you have an objective. When I was younger, my mother told me I wanted to be a police. And as you can see, that is where I am. My father was a military personnel, so it kind of embedded in my body to be in the force. So whatever you do from a younger age, it can happen when you get to my age. It can happen. All you gotta do, work towards it. Work towards it. Let nobody tell you you cannot achieve it. If you want to be a doctor, start now. Pay attention in school. Read your books. Listen to your parents. Listen to your teachers. Focus on that. And I guarantee you, God spare life. To see you become a big person, you will reach to be a doctor. More so, one of the main doctors in the world. You could be a surgeon. You could be a neurosurgeon. Antigua don't have that. A neurosurgeon is a person who deals with the brain. We have none of that in Antigua. So one of you in here can be the first surgeon in Antigua to deal with the brain. But you have to start now. I like to tell kids, pair yourself with somebody who has an ambition, who has a vision, who wants to succeed in life. So whatever you do, you see a person die, he wants to be good in life, associate yourself with them. Be around them, let them motivate you, and by your motivation, they will do better also. So both of you will then succeed in life. Do not allow nobody to tell you you can't be a doctor, you cannot be a police. Okay? Now, in the police force, we have a lot of challenges every day. A lot of challenges every day. And for one of our challenges, we have to learn how to respect people. We have to know how to talk to people, how to deal with situations. We cannot get to a situation aggressive. It's not going to work. So we have to take our time, assess the situation, talk to a person with respect so we can get their respect. Same how as a chef. In a kitchen, you have to know how to talk to your staff or talk to the guests or what, so you can get that respect. Chef is one of the main persons in the world. Okay, they feed all of us. When you go to the hotel, the chef have to cook the food. He stays in the kitchen over the hot stove for hours preparing your meal. So we have to give thanks to the chefs. Any chefs in here? One, there's two, you see? So we'll give them a round of applause that they're going to cook our food. All the females in here, when you all going out to church, carnival, parties, you all want to look real good, right? So then we have a nice hairstylist right there coming up. Give her a round of applause. Stand up, let them see you. She will take care of all the hairstyles in here. She's good. Give her thanks. She's going to take her time on her feet for hours, standing on her 2 feet, doing all the females here in it today. Right? Okay, let's get down to policing, because that's what I know best. As I said earlier, I'm in the force for 14 years. I've been a part of the riot unit, which is a unit that deals with unruly, large crowds. I've been a part of the riot unit for 10 years. Well, 13 years, sorry to be exact. 13 years to be exact. 13 years. I've done several training overseas, Barbados, St. Vincent. I've worked in St. Lucia, I've worked in St. Kitts. So I've been there. I've worked through hurricanes, so I have a bit of training on me. I have some of the equipments behind it that we use in a riot unit and our regular day work. I will show it to you soon. I decided, while in the police force, to further my knowledge. So I embarked on a medical training at the university in Antigua. I went to AUA, American University of Antigua. I've done several medical training there. So I am a certified medic personnel. So not because you are a footballer or a race car driver or a teacher, you can also achieve another skill set to go with what you have already. You can further your knowledge in different things. So you can be a chef and you can still be a medic personnel. You can be a chef and you can still be a teacher. You can be a doctor and you can also be a teacher. Ladies, hello. Oh, stop. Okay? Behave yourselves. Okay? Thank you. Now, I'm going to ask one question. By the raise of your hand, I want the person to answer. Do you think the police in Antigua is needed? The favorite ballet dancer right there. Yes, good. The gentleman in the red shirt, why do you think the police is important in Antigua? Good. So they can stop criminals and make the place a better. Now, in order to do so, the police must show the public respect. Because without the public, there's a lot of things we can't do. We rely on the public to assist us with information, just as the public relies on us to protect them, especially at night when they're sleeping. So while you're sleeping, the police is on the road patrolling, make sure you're safe in your homes. But when you're awake and things happen and you see, don't be afraid to call the police. do not be afraid to call the police. Nobody should see a crime happen or a child is being bullied in school and remain quiet. If somebody is doing something wrong, talk to an adult. Call the police. Let them come and deal with it. Don't stay quiet. When you stay quiet, you're telling the public, yes, I like what the gentleman or the lady is doing. So do not stay quiet. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your teacher at school, I saw this happen yesterday. Let them call the police if you don't want to. Okay? Okay? Now I want one of the police in here to come up here. Come, SWAT. Come, you come. Come. Now, these two officers here, in Antigua, we call this the blue suit, the tactical department. Come, officer. Come over here. This officer here is what we call the regular uniforms. They work different from these gentlemen here. When he gets a call about a fighting, shooting, robbery, he's not trained to deal with that situation. So he will then call the tactical department as SWAT or blue suit, but the same thing. They are well trained, so they will go in to deal with the situation. However, at the back of them, this is very heavy. Very heavy. Can you lift this? Heavy, right? Can you lift this? Heavy, right? This is the first thing they put on. This is called a ballistic vest, or what you might know it as a bulletproof vest. It is very heavy. Hold this. I will show you how it goes on. He's more bigger than them, so. This is just to show you, it is much more snugged on a person's body, like my body. It is fit much better on me. But this, what he has on here, protects his neck all around. So even if in a car crash, his neck is well secured. He's protected from any gunshot. At the sides, the front, the top, and the back, he's well secured. So when he's going into, well, these gentlemen going into a shootout, they are well secured with this. Well secured. It's heavy, or it feels better? Feels better now? The weight is now distributed to the back and the front than in his hand. So he's much, much better. You good? You want to take it off? Now, this is also an equipment these gentlemen wear also. This is a gas mask, as in what you might know it as tear gas. When there's a crowd, an unruly crowd, or persons behaving very rude in the house that don't want to come out, we can use tear gas to get them out. They will put this on their face. You want to try it? Who want to try it? You want to try it? Okay. And he can breathe normal in this. This is a gas mask. It protects you from the gas that is dispersed. So he can wear this, goes through the gas to the tear gas, and go for his criminal. Feels good? You want to take it off or you want to keep it on? Want to keep it on? Want to take it off? Okay. This is a riot shield. That's what these guys wear. As you realize, is a lot of equipment this department put on every day to deal with criminals. You want to try the helmet? Hold your button. Good. Now he's ready. This is a shin guard, shin pads. These gentlemen put on also. Again, as you see, he gets the phone call. He's not trained to deal with the matter, so he called the special squad. And all these equipments, they wear. These goes on your feet. Just like how he has his own here. These one cover from your knee straight down. Yes. When I'm finished, I will fully equip this gentleman here. So this is a full suit on one person. As you see, I put on one side, come. I put on one side. Any stone, any object that is thrown, even if he falls to the ground, it protects him. And he has to run in that also. Do everything in that. So when I go out to work to deal with rude kids, big adults who's rude, criminals who wants to fight, steal, these are some of the things I have to wear. More so every day. Thank you. Come stop here. When I finish, I'll give this gentleman here everything. You want to try on everything?
I already have everything.
Oh, you have everything already?
Yeah.
Good boy. All right, thank you. Have a seat. He said he has everything already. Now, bullying in school also requires police to come sometimes. Bullying is a crime. So we do not allow bullying to take place in schools. Sometimes the police has to go to the schools because kids are bullying the other kids. Kids are fighting in schools. Police has to go to the schools to investigate the matter. So please try your best not to bully each other. Do not allow fighting. If you see it happen, call a teacher right away. Call a teacher right away. The career you're taking now, sometimes could be the one you want down the road. So do not allow bullying, fighting, or even stealing in school. If you see it happen, call a teacher. Do not stay quiet. Okay? Now, as I said to you earlier, I went to study medical. This is my medical bag. It's the same bag the EMS on the ambulance use. So, this is my, so just as though everybody has one, this is my own. This is my stethoscope. Okay? So what you do, I can do. And what I do, you surely can do it. Just study your schoolwork and pay attention in school. Okay? Okay? Good job. How much more minutes I have? 1, 2, 3, 5? Any questions anybody want to ask me? Yes, my lovely lady dear. Come and tell me. You have a question for me? Sure, come and tell me. What's the question? Tell me. Remember? Okay, no problem. Anybody has a question? Come. What's the question?
Where's your police hat?
My police hat is in my vehicle. Oh, and there's one other thing that we love to use. Anybody know what this is? When we put this on, until we get to the police station, we do not take it off. So if ever the criminals think they are bad, we put it on. It's for safety, so they can't hurt us or hurt themselves. So we put this on them, okay? This is not a toy. This is very serious. Okay? Any other questions? Come. Oh, NASA. He's going to the moon soon. Talk to me. What's the question? What's that? Want to talk on the mic? Shy. Yes, teacher.
My question is, what happens with the events where you have a criminal and the criminal escape? Like you had them and then you no longer have them before you all reach the station. What will happen?
If they escape from the
Out of the
custody, anybody, any criminal that is escaped from the station, they will call the tactical department to go for look for them. They will do an investigation to find out how they escaped. Not because you're police, they do investigate police to see if it was a negligent or it was a lawful or it was really an escape. Sometimes a police can be very careless and make a criminal escape. But if they do escape, we go look for them and we bring them back. Sometimes they put up very, very strong resistance. So sometimes we have to use a more stronger force to apprehend them. Any other question? Yes, sir. You are. Come, stand. What's your career? What's your career? A zoologist. Oh, you like animals? Yes.
When a criminal has a gun, do you disarm them or do you take the guns and use it as your own?
All right. I was trying to avoid. Well, this is me as a father now. I do not as a father. My son, my first child, he's 14. And since I know myself having him, I do not buy him no gun. Toy, water gun, squirt gun, I do not buy him any sort of gun. When you do that, sometimes you will telling them it's okay to have one. So I do not practice that. If a criminal has a gun, all these equipments, especially the bulletproof vest, you must have on. You do not approach a criminal when he has a gun. You do not approach him because he can use it. I was trying to avoid the question. If he has a gun, you have to use what you have. And 95% of the time, in my department, we have our own. So we tend to use our own. Okay? If you catch the criminal surprise, off guard, we can take it from them. But if we can't, you have to use your own. That's what you have. Half of you every morning see me come in here. I have. But let's come off of the gun talk, because I don't talk with these things with kids. It's not in my nature. Any other question? Yes, teacher at the back that peeping on the K5 class every time.
Good morning. I was wondering if the police have a right to hold press conferences to notify the public as to what's going on. The reason I'm asking is because of the recent kidnappings, and as a parent, I'm very concerned about sending my 7-year-old to the shop now. And there have been several over the years, but we don't know. We're left to speculate as to what's going on. Are these children running away? You know, so I want to really know if the police have a right to update the public, just to brief us on what's going on.
Okay. On that part, we have a department that deals with the public, right? Sometimes giving the public information can jeopardize an investigation, because telling you, yes, we have a lead, or yes, there's a kidnapping in this area here, or yes, this XYZ. Just how you listen to the news, the criminal does the same thing. And you might know who exactly it is and realize, hey, they're coming for him, or they know who it is. And you call him, give him a heads up, and he disappears. So sometimes it's not okay to just give out all information just like that. But let the public know sometimes it works. It works. So to answer your question, it's not have a right. It all depends on the situation at hand. You can call in to the police station and ask a private question. Or you can come in and speak to somebody on a one-on-one to ask them, this is the situation here, I just need some comfort of what to do now because XYZ happening. But the police have a right to let the public know sometimes. It messes with investigations. Hence you realize we don't do a lot of talking of what's happening all the time. All right? Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Footballer. What are the qualifications of a police or to be a police? Subjects, first off. Maths, English, general knowledge, and other subjects for school. You must pass mathematics. You must pass English language, A and B. Or if you just wanted, you must pass English language. You must pass general knowledge and other subjects. 2, you cannot at no point in time have any sort of drug in your system. They do a drug test. 3, you cannot associate yourself with no criminal elements at all. They do background checks. 4, you cannot be rude. You cannot be rude. Because if you are a menace in your village, we will not accept you in the police force. So your demeanor or behavior also plays a part. Then you have to fill out a form, and based on your application, you do interviews, ask certain questions. Like for instance, let me not ask, let me see. Why you want to be a police? Why you want to be a police? Why? Why you want to be a police when you grow up? You know why? Okay. A police officer, what's your name? Stand up. Yes. Why do you want to be a police? Not sure. My favorite SWAT. Why you want to be a police? Because they save people. All right? So, this is one of the questions they ask in your interview. Why you want to be a police officer? Okay? So there's a lot of process to go through before you can actually be being chosen to be a police officer. So remember, no criminal activities, no drugs whatsoever. You cannot be rude in your village or to your parents. Okay? You got to dress properly on the street because they look at all these things. Okay? Any other question? Yes.
Why doctors when they say people?
What? Okay, when police arrest people, yes, sometimes we put them in what we call a cell. It looks like a cage, but we call a cell. It's for your own safety and for the police safety. So they can do investigation, but it's not all the time a person who does something wrong is put in a cell. Sometimes we put them in an office to talk to them, find out information. Based on what you do, determines the outcome of where we put you. Okay?
Okay.
Any time? Yes. Last question. Last question. Yes, my good nurse.
Why people do something bad?
Why persons do things bad? Sometimes because of their friends. Sometimes because what person say to them. Okay? So it's very important that you let nobody tell you to do something, especially if it's bad. Okay? Don't let your friends say, let's go here, and you know you're not supposed to go there. Okay? Do not follow bad company. She's ready now.
If they leave you where the place is bad and there's nobody there to help you, what you going to do?
If they leave you there where the place is bad, if you go to a place and they run will leave you, call the police and let the police know exactly what happened. When they find you, tell them, okay? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Give it up for Constable Richards from the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda. A very informative, practical session. I think I want to become a police now. You know what I mean over there? Okay, thank you so much, Constable Richards, for your time. We will go straight to our next presenter so we can maximize the time. Just stand with me and just stretch a little bit so you can give all your attention to the next presentation. Okay, hands up, all hands up, out, in, down, up again. We're still waiting on a few students who are still figuring out things. Okay. All right, down. All right, clap your hands. Stamp your feet. Okay, thank you very much. You may be seated. Okay, our next presenter we have is Dr. Caroline Thomas. She's attached to the Ministry of Health, and where she's located is the Sir Lester Bird Medical Center with at least 16 years of experience. Let us welcome Dr. Thomas, who will present to us from a medical aspect.
Good morning. So good morning, Mrs. Archibald, principal, teachers, and students. So I didn't mean to call you last because it's your day, right? Okay, so yes, I have relatives coming to the school. Some of you might know who they are. But as Brother Hastings pointed out, I am a doctor by profession. So I guess I will tell you somewhat of what I do. I guess a very simplistic version. And then, so I see we have nurses, surgeons, doctors. So I'll be here to answer your questions. Okay? So I'm from the village of Liberta. I attended the Liberta Primary School and then the All Saints Secondary School. I went to Antigua State College, University of the West Indies, and then I got the opportunity to go to Cuba to study medicine. All right. Medicine in Cuba, it was all of 7 years because I did 1 year of Spanish. Okay. So, hablo muy bien el español también. Okay. And so, medicine, it's not like the TV drama. All right. You have to stay grounded and focused and down to earth. And while you're studying, you have to study a lot. But then you're in a country with persons from your country, so you get time to spend with your fellow persons, You have Independence Day celebrations, you celebrate each other's birthdays, different celebrations. So it's like you don't lose your life. It's a long process, but you don't lose your life. And then when you come out, you still work even harder. So I'm not gonna lie, especially something you call an internship. You're practically working from morning till morning again. But at the end of it, okay, if you like to help people, okay, if you like to think on your feet, you know, if you're that person that you just want to apply yourself to doing things and help others, medicine is the career for you, okay? Another things, after internship, it gets somewhat easier. I didn't do a specialty, but after internship, some folks might work for a year or two, and then they go back and do things. Because right now in Antigua, the climate all over the world is changing, so we still need neurosurgeons. We need more cardiovascular persons, so people who work with heart. We still need what we call gastroenterologists, so persons who can look after your, if anybody has done the alimentary tractors yet, all right? And then we need dermatologists as well, so persons are going to be into skin, okay? Because in the future, we would need the specialties, right? So there's like hospital expansion and different things, so rather than everybody doing one thing, we need persons to go into the different areas, okay? And what I'm hoping to see eventually in future as well is that you'd be able to go to your, what we call your polyclinics, so like All Saints, Clear Hall, and get just as much service as you would get at, say, the emergency room at the hospital, okay? So, as Mr. Richards, Constable Richards pointed out, you need to have a good character. So if you're a very rude person, if you keep bad company, all these things will come back to haunt you. You probably won't have the discipline to study through the career in the first place. All right? So you need to have a good character. You need to be able to work hard. Okay? So if you're already doing all your assignments and turning them in and studying when you're supposed to, then you're already on track. Okay? So I guess we can start having interaction. I hope I wasn't overly brief. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to find out about studying medicine? Okay, I think your hand has been up a while. You can stand up now. Did you change your mind? So I guess what the class teachers could do is like see which hands go up first and then have your person stand and ask the questions.
Do you ever kill animals to make medicine?
Okay. So when I started out studying medicine, well, it wasn't exactly medicine as yet. We were back at State College. We had a biology class where we had to work on some frogs. So that was the only experience. It's not a everyday thing. And that you'll be killing a lot of animals to get to where you're going. As I said, just one episode I can remember where we had to dissect some frogs. So that was just a one-off for me. Okay.
What happens if the medicine is not effective to the person?
Okay. Big question. Because that's the everyday kind of, in medicine, we like to say we sit down and listen to what you have to say. Okay? Then some people would come and they're already taking medication. So then we have to look at what they're taking it for. All right? You look back at the complaint that the person comes to you with, and then you reevaluate. Some folks are in hospital. Okay? Some folks have infections. Some folks might have issues with their blood pressure that is not under control when they're outside. So they're brought to the hospital. Okay? So all in all, medication, it is a process. So as you see, we study for the years that we study for. We start you off on something. All right? If that something is not working, most of the times you have an alternative that you can go to. All right? What happens to a lot of people sometimes as well is that they're allergic to things. So you might have some people who are allergic to a lot of different antibiotics, but luckily you might find there one or two that they're not allergic to, so you still have something to work with. All right? And then, for example, with antibiotics, if what we're giving somebody is not working, we usually have something that we could send to the lab, all right? Test the bacteria or the bug involved, and then see which medication now can be used, okay? So in that 98% of the cases, you can have an alternative to the medication, all right? If we say medication is not working, unfortunately, it might be a situation where, for example, like certain cancers and things like that. So I'm going to drop a word here. We have what we call a prognosis, meaning that somebody has this disease, and based on what the disease is or what is going on with the person, okay? As I said again, we are human beings, so we can say that their prognosis then, what we expect to happen to that person. You can have a good prognosis, so you have a cold this week, but the good prognosis is from practice and past practice is that we don't expect your cold to stay longer than a week or even 2 at most, right? So then the cold should just come and go, all right? Now I mentioned cancers, so if you can have a good prognosis, you can also have a bad prognosis, which nobody really likes to have to discuss with the patient or the family that something has a bad prognosis. But it happens, and it's discussions that you will have to have. You have to get trained how to have these discussions, but okay, it happens. Okay, any other questions?
Is there any good medicine that is good? That is good?
Okay, yes. So you have some persons, I don't think I know of anybody who did the tradition, well, the herbal folks will probably think they're the traditional ones. I don't want to use that. But going through medical school as we know it, and then you might have some persons, because there are herbs and leaves that persons have done studies on and know that they're effective for things. But in terms of medication, there are a host of excellent medications. All right? Anybody ever heard of Alexander Fleming? Okay? So way back in around World War II, okay, Mr. Fleming noticed that there was some fungus growing on like bedpans. But then he noticed that the way those fungus grew, that then certain what would appear to be infection, because it started off really bad. Medicine was really bad in the beginning. Okay, they would use dirty hands to do things and to touch people. And then Fleming noticed that this fungus was growing. And then he decided to study it. And then he realized that the fungus could give you something you call penicillin. All right? And from his discovery way back in 1930 something up to now, penicillin is still one of our main drugs. Okay? So when people say that drugs are bad, drugs have something you call a side effect. Practically all of them do. Just that some drugs are very mild and can be used from child all the way up to adult. And then some drugs have a lot of side effects. okay? But the drugs, they also have to be studied for a very long period of time before we can use them on people, okay? So penicillin, other antibiotics, high blood pressure medications, sugar diabetes medications, there are like a whole host of medications that once people are taking them, it helps them to be able to live fuller daily lives. Epilepsy or seizure or what people commonly call fits. Some people have been able to basically live better lives because they're taking medications. Okay? So medications have side effects. A lot of medications with bad side effects, we tend not to use them a lot. Okay? We have to have like specific reason to go use the ones that we know would cause you to feel sick. Okay? Okay, so the hospital does not keep bodies, okay? So if someone dies at the hospital, okay, we have to contact family. We just find a very pleasant way to ask them if you could come to the hospital as soon as possible, because we don't give them bad news over the phone. All right, so we ask them to come into the hospital, and once they're aware of what's happening with their family, okay, then the funeral home gets called. And the family also determines which funeral home, because we can't make those decisions for the family. Okay? So, yes, someone might be there for an hour or two. Sometimes the police have to come in and give the all clear for the body to be moved. Okay? But these, as I said, just some of the daily ins and outs. Okay? But the hospital doesn't keep bodies. Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, depends on the type, how much years does it take, different amount of years for like the type of doctor you would like to be?
Okay. So once I was riding the subway in the US and I saw something that says roughly 12 years. So I'll give you a breakdown. All right. I forgot to mention, so folks who finish grade 6 and going off to secondary school, I wouldn't say to limit yourself. I have seen people who did science all the way through secondary school and college and then switch to business, okay? So what you want to do is have a good mixture of subjects, all right? I don't think you can go wrong with at least 2 sciences along with mathematics, but in this day of 24 subjects, you probably need all the basic 3, so maths, biology, chemistry, physics. Those were the basic ones. I was saying the 2 science, meaning that you have an entrance to the door once you have biology and chemistry, mathematics. All right? Yes. So those are like the main ones, biology, chemistry, mathematics, and somewhere like Jamaica, UWI, Mona, I think they're still big on definitely having the physics, right? As I said, in Cuba is set up differently, but the average medical career is like 5 years. I think UWI does 5 years, okay? Cuba has 6 years because of the 1 year of Spanish, okay? So most medical schools you do, well, the US system would probably want you to do 4 years of what they call pre-med. So something biochemistry, biology, even psychology, a lot of folks would do psychology, but it's about having that strong base, good grades, okay? So you have to focus, right? So then America has the pre-med, med. So in America, it's about 8 years. So 4 for pre-med and 4 for medicine, all right? But the pre-med in America as well is some of, like, absorb some of, like, college and things like that, okay? So it's not really to look at the number of years, okay? Because I say you work hard and you do your work. You're out of school by 16, 17. So 8 years for a 16-year-old, really? That's not a lot, okay? You're becoming a doctor by 25, 26, okay? That is excellent. So don't look at the number of years, okay? All right. Work hard. If you want something, you work hard for it, okay? Yes. By the time as you come out at 25, 26, you can still do all the activities you want to do on your days off, on whenever, okay? Right. From 17, 16 to 25 or so, it's not a long time, believe me. When you look back at it, when you get a bit older, you'll realize it's not a long time, okay? So, yes. Okay. So about 5 years, 8 years in the American system, but that's like 8 years starting off really young. 5 years in the Caribbean system, and about 6 to 7 years in Cuba with 1 year of Spanish, okay? After medicine, as I pointed out, I think the shortest course of study, like internal medicine, okay, so you don't get to operate, so the persons who have that part, internal medicine is not for you. Internal medicine, you study a lot to be able to prescribe medications and do some interventions. So you might do some heart tests, some other things, okay? Medicine itself is hands-on. So if you want to be that person that from your office or in the hospital, that you do some procedures, then you will get to do procedures. Because I don't think any of it is ever going to be a total book study and then you get to touch people. All right? So you do have to have some practical, whatever type of medicine you do. Okay? In terms of, I think, neurosurgery now might be an additional, so after your first 5, 6, 8, neurosurgery might be 6 years. Okay? But something like neurosurgery now, it's like a way up their specialty, you know, your responsibilities are great. And your compensation is even greater too, but I never wanted to take the discussion there, okay? Okay, question?
Okay, one last question. If you want to be a pediatric doctor, how long will it take for you to
That's the
become,
average of the 12.
It will be the
If
same?
using the American system, the 4-4-4.
Oh, so it will practically be the same amount of years like a normal doctor?
Well, once you get to the specialty, as I said, the shortest might be 3 years, but if you go off the American system, it's like that 4-4-4. Okay? Of course, you have like summer courses, so persons who, you know, people who want to shorten their thing can go like work through summer and even like December semesters for like the pre-med stage. So maybe finish in 3 years instead of 4, kind of thing. Okay. Alrighty. Yes. You can stand up and speak. You can stand up and speak. What's her name? Auntie Laura. Oh, okay. Auntie Laura is my boss. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions?
I was watching a video and I saw that somebody was doing something, and they said, one of the doctors said that every time somebody is going to do something and the person was switching their face with another person, and that person that they were switching face with would die.
We switch face. Oh, okay. Okay. So teacher actually clarified something for me. So you have something you call transplants. Okay. I think one of the main transplants where a live person will give to another person is like the kidney. Okay. But most transplants are that persons who would have died or passed away a few hours after some of their organs can help to save somebody else. All right? So it's not necessarily that somebody's being killed or something for their organs to be used on somebody else. Most transplants come from somebody who would have died already. Okay? I see a question here. Accidentally inseminated. Remember, I tell you, real life is way different to the TV drama, right? So, accidentally. And inseminated doesn't help them to get pregnant? No, that is not ethical. One of the big things too that there is something we call ethics, okay? Which is mainly what is right and what is wrong. And as a doctor, you always have to have ethics in mind. So we can't do something to patients without their permission, okay? So even from the office visit, through hospital, whatever our interaction with someone, we have to bear in mind what are ethics, okay? And somebody needs to determine what goes on for them. Even though we're making the recommendations and we're saying you should do this, you should do that, at the end of the day, the patient still has a right to choose, okay? So yes, we can't do something to someone without their permission. And if somebody is in a state where, for example, they can't make a decision for themselves, then that's where the family comes in. So a husband, a mother, a father, okay? So what we call the next of kin, meaning your very next relative, okay? So yes, no. Ethics does not allow us to do things to people that they never agreed to, okay? Questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. For the number of white coats, I hope we get this many doctors. Okay.
Let us say a special thank you again to Dr. Thomas for that very informative and practical session. Come on, give it up for Dr. Thomas. Come on, let's go. Yes. Okay, let us all stand. We are going to do our parade. So you're going to come up class by class. Listen carefully. You're going to come up class by class, so individual by individual, and you're going to say your name and what you would like to be when you are older. Okay, so that profession that you're desiring, that career that you want to take part in or to take on, you're going to share it with us. So come up, say your name and your career. Okay, so everyone can sit now. So we will go from the lower grades right up. Well, K's right up. So I'm kindly asking the teachers to also assist in this moment. So let's begin with K4. They're not here? Okay, so yeah, there's.
I want to be a dancer. I want to be a mechanic. My name is Kyle. I'm a race car driver. I'm Kyle Andrew. I'm a race car driver.
Stop. Say
I want to be a race car driver. Good morning. My name is Tiara. My name is Tiara. When I grow up, I will be a doctor.
You have to turn to the crowd and you're going to say hello, good morning, okay? So two, one, two, go ahead. Hello, go ahead. So,
Good morning. When I grow up, I want to be a police. When I grow up, I want to be a fireman.
When I grow up, I want to be a policeman to protect and serve.
Hello, good morning. My name is Lamar. When I grow up, I'm going to be a SWAT. Good morning. A sunset. A sunset.
Good morning. Her name is Alia. When she grew up, she would like to be a scientist.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ryan and I want to be a bus driver. Good morning. When I grow up, I'm gonna be a doctor. When I grow up, I'm gonna be a pilot. When I grow up, I wanna be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse. When I grow up, I want to be a vet.
When she grows up, she would like to be a vet.
When I grow up, I want to be a scientist. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse.
When I grow up, I want to be an engineer.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I would like to be a police. When I grow up, I would like to be a nurse.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
When I grow up, I want to be a police.
When I grow up, I want to be a fireman.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
My name is Nadia. When I grow up, I want to be a public doctor. My name is Kenny. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. My name is Levi Ferris, and when I grow up, I want to be a carpenter.
I am Philippa. I want to be a hairstylist when I grow up.
My name is Nikhil, and I want to be a doctor when I grow up. My name is Renique, and when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. My name is Selena. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse.
My name is Chloe. When I grow up, I want to be a dancer.
My name is Kaylee. When I grow up, I want to be a singer. When I grow up, I want to be a footballer.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
My name is LeBron James. I want to be a policeman.
My name is Pavan Samuel, and I would like to be a dance teacher when I grow up.
Good morning, my name is Gabrielle Archibald, and when I grow up, I want to be a dancer.
My name is Tiana, and when I grow up, I would like to be a dancer.
My name is Michaela. When I grow up, I would like to be a dancer.
My name is Colin Palman. When I grow up, I would like to be a mechanic.
My name is Zuri, and when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. My name is Logan Ferris. When I grow up, I want to be a dancer.
My name is Rolanda Christopher. When I grow up, I would like to be a zoologist.
My name is Chennai Charles, and when I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
My name is Kanaya, and when I grow up, I want to be a martial artist. Hello, my name is Malcolm Otto, and I want to be a footballer.
Hello, my name is Omi Richards, and when I grow up, I want to be a footballer.
Hello, my name is Ajani, and when I grow up, I want to be a firefighter.
My name is Ethan Samuel, and when I grow up, I want to be a footballer.
My name is Shiloh Samban, and I want to be a footballer.
Good morning, my name is Faith Zuma, and when I grow up, I want to be a hairstylist.
Good morning, my name is Taja Roberts, and when I grow up, I want to be an astronomy scientist.
My name is Jaiwan, and I want to be a soldier when I grow up.
My name is Kiza Ibed, and I want to be a tennis player when I grow up.
My name is Tyler Zachariah, and when I grow up, I want to be a football player.
My name is Johnson. When I grow up, I want to be a chef.
Good morning, my name is Amara Francis, and when I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
My name is Kezia Power, and when I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
My name is Kendia Daly, and when I grow up, I want to be a coach.
My name is Michael Sanson, and when I grow up, I want to be a car dealership owner.
My name is Faith Henry. When I grow up, I want to be a gymnast.
My name is Tatiana Archibald. When I grow up, I would like to be a teacher.
My name is Adana, and when I grow up, I would love to be a businesswoman.
When I want to grow up, I want to be a businessman.
Good morning. My name is Kevin East James, and when I grow up, I want to be a businesswoman and a lawyer.
Good morning, I'm Jemai Joseph, and I want to be a zoologist and a veterinarian.
My name is Keandra Henry, and when I grow up, I want to be an architect and a civil engineer. Good morning, my name is Joshua Williams, and I would like to be a footballer. Good morning, my name is Kevin Berger, and I'm part of the Popo. I'm part of the Popo, the police, you understand? Oh yeah, police, yes. Good morning. My name is Hanukkah White, and when I grow up, I would like to be a doctor.
Good morning. My name is David Archibald Jr. And when I grow up, I would like to be a zoologist and a marine biologist.
Good morning. When I grow up, I want to be an astronomist.
Good morning. My name is Liam First, and when I grow up, I want to be an artist.
Good morning. My name is Nashana, and when I grow up, I want to be a chef.
Good morning. My name is Nivea Gonsalves-Burr, and when I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
Good morning. My name is Jessie McCray, and when I grow up, I want to be a chef.
Good morning. My name is Shani Henry, and when I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
I am Mikel Abraham, and I would like to be a football player.
My name is Lucius Archibald, and I would like to be a pilot.
My name is Timothy, and I want to be a soldier. My name is Timothy, and I want to be a soldier.
My name is Alani, and I want to be the next Neymar.
My name is Daniel Fordas, and I would like to be a police when I grow up.
My name is Teacher Mrs. Lake, and I'm a teacher.
All right, thank you very much, students. Give yourself another round of applause. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Yeah. Anything that wants me to be. Yeah. Yeah. All right, and we believe that you can be anything God wants you to be. Do you believe that? Say amen. Amen means so let it be. Okay? All right, so we have one more presenter. Yes, for about 5 minutes. Then we will have grade 5 to say a poem for us. And then we will dismiss. You take your break, and then we do our class transition activity, okay? All right, so we have with us today Mr. Colin Palmer, and he is a mechanic. Anybody wants to be a mechanic? We have a few around, right? Yes, yes. Oh, and then somebody from K's too. So let us welcome Mr. Palmer as he speaks with us briefly about the work that is done as a mechanic.
Good morning. How is everyone today? Just a few pointers when you're going to be a mechanic. A few things that you need to keep in mind, right? One, you must have patience, because there are times when you're not going to be getting through with what you're doing in the time frame that you think you would be able to get through with it, right? And then if you don't have patience, you're going to stress yourself and you're going to make it worse for you, and you won't get through with the work you're doing. Sometimes when you encounter a situation like that, if you're having difficulty, it's best you leave it and, you know, just come back to it maybe another day, depending on what it is and how, you know, far into the day it is. Because sometimes you end up in a situation like that because you're not thinking properly because you're actually tired, but you're not realizing that you've been doing so much for the day that you're not concentrating 100%, because now your mind is not focused. Which brings me to the next point. You have to be focused when you're doing this particular work. You got to make sure, especially if you're having, like, you got to be able to point out things and see things. That's where focus comes in, because there are times when if you can't really, like, there'll be stuff in difficult areas where if only certain people, or if you're really staying focused, you will be able to see that particular problem. You have to have understanding. Now, knowledge, you need knowledge also, but knowledge is good, very good, but you also have to be able to understand, because knowledge and understanding goes together. But it's not everything. I mean, you learn stuff, but it's not all the time you understand, right? So understanding is very, very important. Okay? There's a slight difference, right? Now, I have to reach for my little paper. One of the pointers I put down. Memory is very important also. Very, very, very important that a mechanic can remember stuff, because if you can't remember stuff, you're not going to put them back where you got them from. You have to have a good memory. When you're taking out stuff, you have to remember where I took this particular bolt from, because they're all different sizes, right? And all different, they have different types of bolts also. They have different heads on them. Some will be, when you get later down, you understand hex head, and some of them are, that's why it's important also for you to make sure you have to be good at maths. And when you get into, one minute, I'll get to you just now. When you get to secondary school, it's very important you learn physics. You need some chemistry in it, right? Because you have to learn about chemicals and reaction, and how, depending on the periodic table, which one reacts quicker or faster. And you have to make sure that you know these things, because if you mix the wrong two stuff, it could be fatal to you, right? Especially when you deal with batteries for your car. It's very important you don't have anything like a spark going off next to it, because batteries give off what you call hydrogen. It's a very, very lethal gas. And if there's a spark, it can explode, okay? You don't want any explosions on the bonnet for your car. You must be organized. That's another thing, you need to be organized. So when you're taking things apart, you lay them out in a particular order so that you can put them, you know exactly that this comes from this particular part, especially when you deal with engines and suspension of a vehicle, and you'll be able to put them back where you got them from, right? Oh yes, very important that you listen. You need to listen. Sometimes you might have more experience than somebody in terms of, let me say, more years, let me put it that way, right? But it's also important that you listen, even if there's somebody that's just finishing off from college and they're new to this field. It's very important that you listen, because sometimes their idea and your idea come together to make an easier way for your work. And no matter how good you are, there's always somebody that's better than you, right? Now, that's a very technical little line there, because you might be very, very good at what you do, right? And you might consider yourself being the best, but you might not be the best in all the fields. But this particular person in that particular field, or with that particular vehicle, because they're always working on that particular vehicle and the experience that they have, they'll be better than you at working on that particular vehicle. So now, guess what? You're better than them, but because they're always working on that particular vehicle, they are better than you. So it's good that you listen, right? Don't be afraid to ask questions. No matter how good you are, just like I said, there's somebody that probably specialize in this particular vehicle, you go and ask them questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. Just like when you're in school and you're in class and learning, if you don't understand something, you ask your teacher a question, and hopefully the teacher will be able to provide you that answer, right? So same thing, when you get out there, you always have to be asking. If you're not familiar with a particular vehicle, you go and you ask questions with somebody that is very like in that field, and they're very experienced with that particular vehicle, because that is going to help you. You're going to learn, and sometimes we have to drop the little pride and we have to go and ask questions, because that's how you're going to learn, and that's how you're going to better yourself. Another thing you shouldn't do is if you're not familiar with a particular vehicle, I would advise you, if you know you can't do it, do not go and attempt to do it. You will end up in a lot of problems, and you will probably cost yourself money in the long run. So you have to sometimes just advise people to go to that other person that specializes in that field, because I've seen that happen lots and lots of times. People go and take a work that they're not familiar with, and next thing you know, they have to be paying out money, or they leave somebody in a spot. Well, that's part of communication, right? With asking questions. And you must have confidence in yourself, right? Don't be scared of taking something apart. Once you learned that in your class or college or wherever you went to, and you know what you're doing, you have to have confidence, because if you don't have that self-confidence, you're not gonna make it. You must have confidence that I can do it, I can put that up, and I can start it. I can take it down, I can put it back up, and I can get it running. Yeah, you must have confidence in yourself. You must be able to, nowadays, the way of the automotive world is that everything is happening so fast that you have to increase in knowledge, and most of the time you increase in knowledge by doing research as well as reading. You have to do a lot of research. You have to go on the internet sometimes, and you have to familiarize yourself with certain like vehicles or certain parts of the field. Right now we're moving from, well, at least they're trying to move from using motor. Well, both of them are motor. They're trying to go electric. Right? They're trying to move from combustion, let me put it that way, from combustion engine to motor or electric, full motor. So all of them are motor, but one is electric motor and one is combustion motor. Hi. Question? Motor is the engine. Motors that's what motor is. It acts like the engine of the vehicle. That's the motor, right? The combustion motor, that's the one you're familiar with, the engine, and the electric motor, that's the one they're trying to get into right now. And they even have what they call a hybrid, which is you have the engine as well as the electric motor, the combustion motor and the electric motor together. Any more questions? You had a question down here?
Every time you connect the positive and the negative of the battery with the chemicals, it creates a short circuit. It generates a lot of heat.
Well, you should connect the positive to the positive terminal of the battery and the negative to the negative terminal of the battery. It wouldn't short circuit unless you mix them up, like switch them around and put the positive on the negative and the negative on the positive of the same battery. Okay? The only time you can mix those up is if you're doing what we call a 24-volt system, but it has two separate batteries. Huh? Oh, you made 12 volt before? Good boy. That's good. So your dad's teaching you that? Huh?
The plant manager.
Okay, good. That's good. Always make sure you watch him and listen to what he says, and you reach far. Oh, you have to, next thing, last and final, you have to love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, you seldom will excel in what you're doing, okay? Any more questions? Hi.
Why cars need engines?
Cars need engines so they could move, so they could be mobile. Without the engine, they can't move unless you push them.
Can't they run?
Oh, the only way the car can run without the engine is if it's like you park it on the hill and it get away, but you need the engine to get it moving.
Why does the car need gas?
For the gas, well, a gasoline engine need gas because it has to do with what we call combustion, right? That's where you need you need air. Without air, you can't get a fire, right? You won't burn, right? You need oxygen with anything. Oxygen. 1 minute, right? And you need to have air going into the engine, and then you need to have that fuel because that's where the gas is. The gas is the fuel, right? And then we have that spark that get that engine going. One more, and then I come to you.
So, how is it like to be at the mechanic?
For me, I like what I do. And it's not really easy because you have to make your mind up to get dirty, right? You have to make your mind up to get cuts because you will get cuts. And I mean, you go to school or college and you will learn safety rules, but there are times when you're going to get injured. You're going to get a cut, you're going to probably squeeze your finger, you'll probably pong your own finger with your hammer one at a time. Yeah? Right. Oh, she needs it to...
If you touch one car, you done dirty.
What?
If you don't touch one car, you done dirty. Sometimes
it depends on one, if the car itself, the engine of the car is dirty, and depends on what you're doing on the car.
So you all wash down cars when they dirty and you still fix them?
Well, the only time we really wash any part of the car is if we are going to do some work, or like especially the engine, and we need to identify where there's an oil leak, right? Then we will wash it. Suspension-wise, like the shocks and stuff like that, we sometimes wash underneath if it's very dirty so that we don't get any dirt in our eyes.
What kind of hose do you use?
we use what they call a pressure washer, right? You know what a pressure washer is? Like what you use at the gas station to wash down cars? That's what we use.
What is combustion?
Combustion, that's when you have, in an engine, you will have what we call a combustion chamber. And it's actually let me break it down for you. Combustion is actually can't use ignition, the burning of fuel, burning of gas or diesel in the combustion chamber, inside the engine. Then with the gasoline engine, you have gas going in to the engine as well as air, and then the spark plug, it will ignite, it will fire, as we will say. And when it lights up that gas inside the engine, there's a slight explosion, but you would never hear it inside the engine. Yeah, that's combustion. Oh, sorry, I couldn't see him. Hi. Let me walk.
You know to tune a car?
It depends on the tuning. Tuning, there's certain levels of tuning that requires a computer. I can do a basic tune.
In a video game, can I bring it to you and you tune it for me?
Video game? Oh no, I don't do those. 1 minute, I get into you.
Why I see everybody just putting water in the oil? Why did they put water in the oil? Because it overheats?
Oh no, they put it in the radiator. Sometimes they will. You're supposed to, by right, put coolant, engine coolant, in the radiator. Coolant is better because it stops corrosion, or at least it cuts it down. When you put water in it, water has a lot like chlorine and stuff like that. It will damage the inside of the engine, as well as deteriorate the radiator after a while.
Do you know how to wrap a car?
How to what?
Paint a car?
I've painted about 2 cars already. I don't really like to do it. I like the paint, but I don't like the preparation in terms of the sanding and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not too good with that. It messes with my fingers, the edges of my fingers.
Have you made like an invention from scratch?
Any particular invention thing? I've built race cars before. Like take an engine from another vehicle and put it in that particular car. We have to do cutting out of the floors and stuff like that, but no, I don't go from the frame. I usually just have the whatever body I decide to put it in. I will just have that body, and any fabrication like to get the engine in and whatever I will do. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
What kind of cars you take out the engine of? Cars you take the engine out of? What kind of cars you take the engine out of?
I've done Toyota. Well, back in the day, I used to use Toyota engines because that's where I would have availability to performance parts. Today, Toyota, I don't know, they don't seem to have much in performance parts, and if you do find them, they'll be very expensive. So, if you're thinking of maybe setting a car up to race, it's best you go for a Honda where there's a lot of parts available, racing parts, and you can get it very easy. You don't like Honda?
Okay.
What kind of car do you like?
Like race car. Helter Skelter.
Skelter? Or you Subaru guy? Huh?
All right. Sorry.
Every time when I go into the shop, I see something leaking out. When I looked, it was a little leaking out. I think it was something burst, or it was just a pipe leaking out. White.
White? Something white leaked out of an engine? Or pipe? Or well, maybe there's a lot of things that could be.
Okay. We'll have to.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. Yes. All right. Give it up for Mr. Palmer.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Another very informative and practical session. We are going to close off our program today. Did you enjoy this program? Okay, thank you. Our last item will be grade 5 to come and render a poem, It Couldn't Be Done. Let's welcome grade 5, It Couldn't Be Done. Come on this side, go on that side.
Move.
On this side, come
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. When things go wrong as they submit. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a bit of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody said, oh, you'll never do that. At least no one ever has done it. So he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubt or quit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. So just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just starting to sing as you'll tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it.
Give it up for grade 5. Okay, let us all stand, please. Clasp your hands, close your eyes. We thank you, Father, for today and what you did today. Now we ask that you dismiss us with your blessings. Help us to not only to want to be something when we grow up, but to really desire it to please you. Help us to be diligent in our studies. Help us to focus on how we can glorify your name. Remind us of your lordship and your sovereignty and who you are. Help us to aim to please you in all that we do, whether it is a job with our hands, with our brains, with our skill sets. Let everything that we do bring glory and honor to you. Thank you for these students, and I pray as they continue to learn to eventually pursue that career of their choice. Help it to be Christ honoring, and help it to ultimately again bring you glory. Thank you for teachers, instructors, educators who spend time to equip us so we can do what you've called us to do. We are so grateful that we can learn from them so we can be better at what we do. We thank you for everything again and ask for your blessings again. Through this grace we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.